All right, all right. Well, I wanted to talk about this because I've been hearing a lot about this in the, I guess the zeit. I don't fucking know. It's just in media, period, on the internet. Okay, I've been hearing a lot about the Gods of Egypt being a bad movie, and people have some of the most varied yet general reasons fucking ever. And I just saw this movie last night. It was not a terrible movie. It was a basic summer action flick, or not even. I mean, I guess it didn't take place in the summer, obviously, but and by the way, I usually write scripts for when I'm speaking, but I'm going, just off the cuff here. Uh, this movie was not horrible, and I don't know for the life of me why people are acting like it was. People are acting like this is the worst thing they've ever seen in their lives. They're acting like, oh my god, this movie is fucking awful. They're saying like the CGI was, in general, the CGI was fucking bad, and the writing was awful, and the characters were fucking awful, and all this other shit. And I'm just like, what the fuck were you talking? Like, did you expect this summer action movie and that didn't take place in the summer to be like? Did you expect it to be a drama? I don't understand. What were people looking for? You know what I'm saying? That they saw this movie and they thought it was supposed to be something more. I mean, I guess I can kind of start from the beginning. I can just walk you through the movie to give you a bit of a plot synopsis. But basically, there are two brothers, Osiris and Set. Osiris is basically the good brother who got everything, and Set is the brother who got fuck all, even to the point where he was cast by his father. He was cast out to go walk the fucking the dunes of Egypt, um, for whatever reason. Later on, his father Ra, the sun god, who has a really cool part in the movie. Actually, I think he has the most compelling part in the movie to me, especially because of how heroic a sacrifice it is, um, and how his character seemed to have a bit more depth as well. Just in a few lines of dialogue, he explained his situation, and it was wonderful to see that. It was a horrible situation, but it was wonderful to see that kind of depth. So anyway, the two brothers are there, and Osiris has this huge. He rules over Egypt as the king, and there's fucking peace and prosperity across the land. Apparently, there's no war or fighting, because at the I guess the coronation of Horus, his son, Osiris's son, and Ra's grandson, the only grandson he'd be able to have, by the way, because Set is childless and Ra made him childless on purpose. Um, a reason which he doesn't really give much of an answer to later on. But um, basically, Horus is being crowned king, and it's leaping over Set, and it's going straight to Horus. Set comes late to the coronation. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm late, brother." You know what I'm saying? He's like, it's like, I had to walk all the way across the fucking desert, whatever. And Osiris is like, it's all right, bro. Like, Osiris is the most chill fucking king ever. Like, he's like, man, I have no fucking qualms. At least you're here, bro. And he's all happy to see his brother, and he gives his nephew a hug and stuff like that. And then he grants his nephew this horn, which is his present, basically. Horus blows the horn, and it sounds for some soldiers to come in, and they kind of split, but they split down the crowd, and they come in, and they're basically Set's soldiers. Set performs a coup, and in one really startling scene, like, Osiris is such a character that's so warm and tender, and then to see it, like, he basically kills Osiris, and he kills him as Osiris is coming to give him a hug. Like, he tells Osiris, fight me. And Set tells Osiris this, and Osiris is like, no. You know what I'm saying? So he stabs the fucking stick into the ground. He stabs the staff into the ground, goes to hug his brother, and he gets killed. And basically Set stages this coup, and the other gods, they kneel. You know what I'm saying? Not only does Set have soldiers, and these are trained armed soldiers, but he also has, these fucking this monster general with him who has the ability to transform to this kind of minotaur looking thing. And the people in the hall are a bunch of fucking unarmed civilians. And I was just listening to Angry Joe's a bit of it because I couldn't even listen through the whole of the video because a lot of people just go into trashing this fucking movie, and I can't for the life of me understand why they want to do that so bad. I didn't come into this movie expecting to see like fucking Crash, the drama with it's showing race relations in fucking LA and shit. I didn't come into this movie expecting to see anything like that. I came into this movie expecting a fucking summer action flick. You know what I'm saying? And perhaps people had the wrong expectations, but um anyway, Angry Joe was just like, why didn't all these people, and they did, to admittedly, they did well outnumber those soldiers. Okay, they well outnumbered them. The issue with that is you're talking about, I don't care how many fucking civilians trying to go against armed soldiers and a powerful god with their family members in the crowd. What? Why? Just just fucking why? And on top of that, it's shown later that he has more soldiers than that. So the other soldiers could have easily been waiting outside the gates. They would have just fucked themselves. They would have gotten everyone killed. And there is a message throughout the movie that Horace has to learn. It's, I think, the biggest message throughout the movie. Other than, I mean, I think it's like sacrifice. I think sacrifice is the biggest message of the movie. And with Horace, he did not value the lives of the humans very much. He just didn't really give a shit. And so he engages in this fight, of course, because he's angry. His dad just got killed. And I was thinking to myself the whole time, Horace, don't do it right now. You know what I'm saying? And even there's even one of the gods that said that this is not the time, and he ignored it. He's like, just like, fuck that. I'm gonna kill this asshole. The guy Set is able to overpower Horus only because he had his fucking cheating ass little soldiers around that they blinded Horus because Horus has the power of sight. He's the god of the air and he has this special power of sight, but it's vulnerable to bright lights. Which they only use, like, I think in the beginning of the movie, which they really should have used that should have been something all throughout the movie that he had to deal with. But he got blinded and got defeated, and then he gets his eyes plucked out by Set because Set, later on you find out that Set is, oh shit. I guess I'll put in the description that there's a bunch of spoilers, and I'll put it as big as I can because this is just spoiling the whole movie. But apparently, no one's going to watch the movie because I've heard that the movie had an $140 million budget and only made back $40 million. So at this point, I think the movie's fucking doomed, and it's a real shame because it didn't deserve that. Um, Anyway, Set is taking the parts of the gods and he's going to combine them to his metal form. He basically has this fucking beast mode, whatever, where he gets his armored metal body and he combines the parts of the gods to make him even stronger. Basically, Set's deal is that he's just an asshole. He's had everything taken from him his entire life, and toward the end of the movie, Ra says that all this was a test for you to learn. I guess he was supposed to learn how to be selfless and how to sacrifice, um, because he was supposed to take Ra's place. Osiris was supposed to be the one who passed down his kids from generation to generation, and since he was the only brother that could have kids, and he was supposed to rule over Egypt, which was considered all of creation. And by the way, the world is flat in this movie. Sorry, in this movie, which is a pretty cool visual effect when we see it. And Ra was supposed to give Set his position to fend off this god, either Apophos or Apothos. It's basically chaos embodied, and it's this enormous worm that comes and starts devouring things. And so, if there's not someone who's riding around, using the sun to give light and then chasing off the beast, then it comes to whichever side is dark. And if you're not careful, it will start to destroy the creation. So Ra every day has to go to the has to switch sides of the planet, and when the day and night cycle changes, he goes to the other side of the planet and fends off Apothos. And Set was supposed to take his place. And granted, Set did have a really fucked up, you know, he did have a really fucked up life. He totally took it overboard, but he was not given a fair shake. Um, but anyway, getting back to the synopsis. So, basically, the movie skips forward in time. The main character, thief guy that you meet at the beginning of the movie, he, his his girl, I guess she was going to be his wife. I guess she was kind of his wife. Whatever. She has to go work for a cruel fucking asshole, and he's working building this giant obelisk because at this point Set is still trying to impress his father, um, because he still believes in his father, and thinks that he still has some reverence for his dad at this point for Ra. So he's trying to build this obelisk to Ra. It's fucking enormous, and it's CGI, and it's beautiful. Uh, well, another thing that people were complaining about, the CGI is awful. The CGI in this game, I mean, fuck. The CGI in this movie is fine, with the exception of certain scenes. But I'll get to those when we get to the synopsis because I've digressed enough. But so he sneaks in constantly to go see this girl, and she's like, "You gotta get Horace, bruh. You gotta get him. It's the only way to get us out of this fucking mess." And the thief dude's like, "Yo, for real though? Like Horace is a little bitch. Like he got fucked. Oh, you really want me to go get this motherfucker?" And she's like, "You're the only one who can sneak into that fucking asshole sets. He's got this safe that you got to sneak into to get the eye. For whatever fucking reason, the eye is sitting up on a pedestal where you can get it. Why? I don't fucking know. He did like have the architect who is the asshole that is the slave master of the girl. He's a major architect, or he is Egypt's major architect to Set, and so he's crafted this, supposed to be unfucking stealable. You're not supposed to be able to rob from this fucking vault. Anyway, thief guy's like, you know what? If you're gonna give me some puss, then I'll do whatever. So he steals some. She gives him some maps. She gives him one map that shows him the inner, the inside of the trap that he's supposed to brave to be able to get to the eye of Horus, which will start to give Horus back his powers. Um, and I think he finds another map that shows him Set's like inner sanctum where his power is. Anyway, he's like, I gotta get some pussy. So he jumps into, which is really unfucking realistic, but he jumps into this barrel of gold. Set is a warmongering asshole, and he has been pushing the gods back, the rebel gods, as they call them, who don't want to be under his control. And he's been stealing shit from them. And he's been apparently conquering other lands or whatever. They never really go into detail about that. But um, I'm surprised I remember so much of this movie. Anyway, so the thief jumps into one of these carriages. Nobody fucking sees him. It's at night, but yeah, the fuck right that nobody would see this, and yeah, the fuck right that the guards wouldn't hear big ass clanking metal, in the back of this car. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Anyway, he gets dumped down this fucking contraction into the vault magically, and there's a lot of convenience in this story. I will admit that, obviously. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving it a bit of a defense of the story, but I'm not gonna fucking lie for it. Jesus. I mean, some of this stuff is just utter bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of thing that like really he gets dumped down this vault and he manages to jump at the last minute. And this guy is super agile. I will give him that. He's super agile. And it's kind of realistic and kind of human and kind of possible for him to do this kind of stuff, but it's not likely. Anyway, so oh shit, I gotta start a new recording. Just